Hey guys. So what Spirit wants me to talk about today is just like who we're becoming is what the reward for what we're doing here is. So, a lot of us are having a hard time letting go of like our old identities to create that space for a new version of us to come in. And I think an important thing to remember is that it's about who you're becoming as a person, right? And I think a lot of times we get stuck in these people pleasing routines where like we really, really care what the community, what our family, what the matrix people in this system and that are programmed by this system, we care what they think and we want their approval and we want to even help them in a lot of ways, right? And so we've always kind of felt like a sense of validation from being a part of that. And it's really difficult to rewire your brain when like maybe in a lot of instances it's easy to say that maybe something is good, right? That comes from the system. Something could seemingly look positive. Like for me, here's a good example. Like I'm a teacher, right? I work with kids. That's a beautiful thing. That could be seen as like, just that's your calling and that's it, Kelsey, right? But in another sense, like, are we looking at what that system is doing to the kids? How is that system like creating the best, highest versions of these little humans? Like, is it? Like, right? So what kind of system am I a part of? So even though I might be playing an important role, in a loving role, in a nurturing role, in a seemingly very valuable role, we also have to consider the program in itself and like, and if that is of the highest good, the role you're playing within the program, right? And if it isn't, then like, how can we embody that more in ourselves? So we are part of bringing in a newer timeline and not continuing an old timeline, even though you might be doing an amazing job as a teacher or whatever you do. Maybe you're a nurse, whatever, right? That's not to take away from that. And like, you can shine your light in those ways, but we do want to be a part of creating a new system, a new way of being, a new way of doing things where everybody is expanding and thriving. And there isn't a bunch of manipulation like we see like in the medical field, in the education field. Like there's in every part of the program in the matrix, there is manipulation. There is this goal, this ulterior motive that isn't like, what's the highest good of everybody? What's the highest good of all the people? We all know that the people that created these systems don't have that in mind. There's an ulterior motive and it isn't of the highest good. Maybe it's to make money. Maybe it's because they're just straight up evil, right? Like there's so many things going on in this world. We don't have to dive down every rabbit hole to establish that, right? We all can collectively agree. And so when we're making these decisions, these life decisions for ourselves, like we really do want to like do the right thing. But sometimes we get caught up in these attachments of people pleasing and codependency, even if the codependency is on a job, even if the codependency is in like some other way. You can be codependent on substances. You can be on friends, in relationships and family, like all kinds of ways. And we have to see how we depend on that for our validation in a lot of cases. And instead of being so dependent on that for validation, really getting quiet, sitting with spirit and our higher self, getting in connection with the clarity of what the next decision should be. And it isn't always going to be in support of this matrix programming. Why would it be? We came here for something bigger than that. And I think that a lot of people need to hear this message and recognize like you are so insanely unique and like no one is you. And when we fit ourselves into the box of this program, sometimes we deeply suppress this untapped potential that we have within us, that we need to be expressing, that we need to be shining. So we're able to vibrate into the frequency of this new timeline. And we are part of the creation of this new timeline. We are the first ones bringing it in. And we have to realize that during this transition time, it is so critical for us to recognize the role that we play and be brave enough and courageous enough to step into the frequency and embody that role and like own that role and be able to cut ties with the codependent aspects of our life that aren't embodying what's actually the highest good of all. Because what's actually the highest good of all is the truth of it all will come to you when you're quiet and connected to spirit. It's not what somebody else's opinion. And even though you might really respect this person, they don't know what's best for you. It doesn't matter who it is on the outside. The only one that knows what's best for you is you in connection with the highest version of yourself. You quiet sitting with spirit, receiving that information. And so as we're moving into these new timelines, we must be conscious and intentional about the way we move and about shifting into new frequencies and how that is not going to feel like your comfort zone. But there is a peace in it. But you have to learn to flow with spirit, and your faith has to be to that level where you're like, I know everything's always working out for me. I know I'm not going to know the next thing. It's going to be revealed to me in divine timing. I trust that. And I know that whatever it is going to be the highest of good for all, for me, for all. And it is going to assist in the expansion of this new timeline, this new earth, this new reality. And, the recognition of that in your everyday life. And how are you taking the steps to responding, rewiring your brain to respond to life in a different way so spirit can communicate with you and you can get this information in order to move forward in a higher version of you in a way that's more aligned with your divine path, instead of looping in codependent cycles and not detaching from an old version of you that might seem like this great person. I'm sure it was, but there's a more expansive, amazing evolved person that's hiding inside because they're busy doing a lot of stuff for other people. And I totally get it. But even in those situations, oftentimes if you're in a codependent and these people are dependent on you emotionally and them emotionally, you're enabling them and holding yourself and them back. So a lot of times you feel guilty because you're detaching from someone or something, but really you're doing everyone a favor. Now everyone has an opportunity to make a different decision that's likely way more expansive. And if you have really expanded, you know how to move with the universe and detach in healthy ways, detach in respectful ways, right? And you have no idea how emotionally rewarding it is to actually learn that you can do that. Everything doesn't have to be some drama when you detach. It really doesn't. You can learn to move in such a smoother way because your energy itself is the boundary and people respect it. They respect that you're going to do what's best for you, and you attract people like that in your life, and you attract energy like that in your life. And when you move in a sovereign way, you don't worry about it anymore as much as you used to because you feel that protection around you. It's almost like an energetic bubble of protection that's just always there, and you're creating it because your heart is emanating that energy of just sovereignty. It's so hard to explain, but when you see somebody who's embodying it, you see what I mean. Or when you feel yourself embodying it, you feel what I mean. This is that you came here for a purpose and you are embodying it and you're walking it. And that's just so evident to everyone and everything around you. They're not going to come try to manipulate you because you're not manipulatable, if that's even a word. But you feel me? That is the level of expansion that you're on. It's this undeniable knowing that I'm here and I know what I'm here for. I don't know what the next step is, but I know Spirit has got me. So it doesn't matter if I don't know, but this is what I'm here for. So if you ain't about it and you're just going to drain me or keep me looping, get out of the way respectfully, because I got things to do and they're heart expanding and they are so in service. Even when you're filling your own cup, oh my gosh, if you doing this in a healthy way and you really start to understand energy, you are helping everybody, even just filling your own cup. And when you become conscious of that, and it makes you want to do it more, right? So just be easy on yourself in the same breath, because this rewiring of your brain is not for the faint of heart. It really is such a conscious effort in any given moment to be intentional about your thoughts, your actions, the way you want to show up. And a lot of times that just means observe and allow things to come in and go, and like stop being so involved. Like Spirit has it. Like you don't have to try so hard. I know we're taught to hustle culture, but really you don't have to try hard. Not when you're in these frequencies of expansion and knowing that it's about co-creation with the universe. It's not about trying harder. It never was. It was about connection the whole time. And so yes, what a beautiful message that Spirit wanted me to bring through today, because connection is everything, because action means nothing if it's out of alignment. It's just from ego and programming. So when you recognize that, then you can consciously move from a more aligned place. And that is such a safe feeling. Like it's a safe place to be. And once you're there, then life gets a lot easier. Even if there's things that happen, because we're all human and things come up in life, it feels easier because we are in alignment. And even if something negative comes in, we're like, oh, I already know this is some expansion, Spirit. Bring it on. It's okay. I know I'm taken care of. There's nothing that can really take me off my rocker, because I know what this world is. I know who I am on a soul level. But all right, guys, I love you so much, and I will see you on the next one.